What is up, guys? Crisis here. I am currently playing... Well, I'm not actually currently playing anything. This is gameplay from Temple of Kotmogu on Miss Pandaria, obviously. And I just wanted to make... This is not live, by the way. Which is why I said I'm not currently playing anything. This is... I just recorded this game. I wanted to make a video talking about Miss of Pandaria and my kind of overall thoughts. The game's been out for about 3 weeks now. 3 to 4 weeks. And I just wanted to make a video talking about what I thought of pretty much everything so far, from the raid instances to the different battlegrounds, PvP, leveling, questing, everything so far. Just because I feel like it's been out long enough now, I have a pretty good grasp on what everything is like. So I'm gonna just start from level 85 and talk about questing, and we'll go from there and see where that takes me. So questing up to 90 wasn't that bad. It was boring. I mean, it was really redundant, is what I really feel like. Every zone had the exact same setup, where you'd get 3 quests from a group of people. Sometimes it might be 4 or 5 quests, but it's pretty much always 3. One of them is to kill X amount of mobs. One of them is to loot Y amount of items off the ground, and one of them is to loot Z amount of items off of a different type of mob. So you're always pretty much killing 2 types of mobs, one to kill because you need a certain number, and one to kill for drops. And then you're always picking something up off the ground. And then you go back, turn that quest in, you'll get another quest, and it will be like, kill this named guy. And then you go and you kill the named guy. And then he's dead. And then you go back, and then he's like, oh, good job, go to this next village. And then you go to the next village, and you get the same 3 quests. And it seemed like that was pretty much it for the entire leveling experience. From 85 to 90, it was almost the same. One thing I was pretty disappointed with was the lack of instances leveling up. There's only 4 of them, which means, and they only have I think 2 quests each, which means unless you want to grind the same couple of them over and over again, and 2 of them are level 85, so once you get to like 87, 88 or 89, you're not going to want to do those. You really have pretty much only quests. Whereas if you look at Cataclysm, they had far more instances that you could do while leveling up, because they had like 1 per zone or 2 in a couple places, and it felt like you could take a break from questing and do something else. Whereas here it's kind of like, unless you want to do the same instances over and over again, you pretty much have to just quest grind, which is a lot slower and less fun. Obviously you could grind the same couple like dungeons over and over, but I mean, I don't know. Personally, I was playing with a friend and we leveled together, and we didn't really want to do that. That, to us, isn't that fun. Like, you have to grind them enough as once you get to 90 to do heroics. So, it didn't really seem like a very good option. As far as the lore, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know anything about the lore of this game, and I never have, and I probably never will, because I truly don't care that much. I don't play this game for the story. But I will say that a friend of mine who I leveled with, who was really into it, said that it was pretty good. So there was a lot of backstory, a lot of things you could find on the ground and pick up, like tablets. Not pick them up, but read them, and it went into more backstory. So there's definitely lore there for people who are interested in that. Now then, I guess I'll go just hop right into PvP, because what an awesome segue that was. Wow. PvP's a lot like it was in Cataclysm, I feel like, except now you have monks. It's pretty much the same. I mean, there's not a whole lot different. The 2 new battlegrounds, I love the one I'm in right now, Temple of Kotmogu. I think this one's great. Like, this one is really fun. It's just a bloodbath. You're just constantly fighting. Tons of action. It's great. The other one is the Mines of something. It's the mining one. I don't really find that one to be as fun. I think it would be good if you had a group of people you were playing with, but alone, it's not really all that fun in my opinion. It's kind of, I don't know, kind of boring. You spend a lot of your time running around in circles looking for minecarts. As far as the balance goes, I mean, everybody has a different view on balance. My biggest complaint has to be the fact that DPS classes, pretty much all of them, can heal for an absurd amount. And I realize for leveling, they wanted DPS to be able to heal. I know when I played my warrior, I could kill 5 or 6 enemies at a time while leveling and I could kill them all, and I'd have full life afterwards because I can heal for so much. The difference is, though, that was more, I could heal for a lot, every time I killed an enemy with Victory Rush. Some classes can just heal for a lot during the fight. Death Knights, mages seem to be able to do that if they can. Well, obviously if they have EVK, they can freeze you and heal for quite a bit. That is a long cooldown, but I mean, Beast Mastery Hunters can heal like crazy. Death Knights, Rogues can heal pretty well. It's just Druids can heal pretty well. Ret Pallies are absurd. It's really kind of disappointing, I guess I'd say, to see that PvP is just, you don't need a healer. Like, this whole game, we don't have a healer on our team. And when it's not even all that close. They have, I think, 3 healers, 2 Resto Druids, and a Holy Paladin. And we don't have any healers. But we have, all of our DPS classes can heal. So, like, it doesn't really, what difference does it make if we have healers or not, you know? As long as the right people are the ones picking up the orbs, it truly makes no difference. Because your DPS can keep themselves up just fine. The only thing I will say for the PvP is, I haven't done rated battlegrounds. I haven't done it with a full group of people. Because I'm not a big fan of rated battlegrounds. So, I haven't done that. That might be really good. Like, you're obviously going to want healers for that, because it's going to be a more competitive thing. So I will say in that regard, you probably do want some healers, but it's just kind of absurd how much healing DPS can do. When you look at what I consider to be the best expansions, which were Burning Crusade and some of Wrath. Wrath was good, but DPS classes just couldn't heal, like, not like they can now. And it just made PvP a lot more balanced, because you didn't have to worry about, like if something had 50,000 health, if it was a DPS class with 50,000 health, and you had full health, you were going to kill it right away. Now, if I rush at a person with 50,000 health and he stuns me or something, next thing I know, he can have 150,000 health. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, will I still win? Yeah, probably, because he's at half-life and I'm not. But it's just weird. It's just strange. I don't really like it. I didn't like it in Cataclysm. I was hoping it would change in Wrath, and it doesn't. It didn't at all. So I am kind of sad about that, but I guess that's the direction Blizzard wants to go, so I guess they're doing a good job with it, if that's what they're going for. So, as far as arenas go, I mean, arenas, I haven't really done 3v3s competitively, so I don't really know how that is. As far as, like, I mean, 2v2 is unbalanced, so I'm not even going to talk about that. It's always been unbalanced. It always will be unbalanced. There's a reason they don't give out titles for it. So, 2v2 is a mess, like always. 3v3, from what I've seen so far, seems pretty good. Some classes are way better than others in it, though, I have noticed. But, I mean, it's hard to say what classes are good and what classes aren't, because of the different compositions. Like, I could be like, oh, warriors are terrible. Well, if you play with 3 warriors, they're going to be terrible. If I could say, you know, you could say that about any class. With all the different compositions out for 3v3, especially now that monks are in the mix, who have a DPS and a healing spec, it does seem like any class can participate at a reasonably high level. Whereas before, there were some classes, I mean, in like Burning Crusade, and I think most of Wrath even, Hunters weren't even in the game. Like, Hunters didn't exist in arenas. And I mean, last expansion, I know Warriors were pretty lowly, I don't know if that's a word, but underrepresented. But I mean, right now it seems like, until people figure out what's overpowered, it seems like it's going to be pretty good. Some of the old comps are always going to be good. Rogue Mage Priest, Warrior, or Rogue Lock Shaman. Things like that are always going to be strong. But from what I've seen, it does seem fairly balanced in that regard. So, that leaves what? I've talked about PvP, leveling. I mean, heroics and rating is all that I really feel like is important to people. So, the heroics are easy. They were meant to be easy. They're incredibly easy. Everyone I've done with a friend, the same friend I leveled with. He's a healer, and so it's nice always having a good healer with us. So in that sense, we find them pretty easy because we have a strong DPS and a strong healer, and then most tanks are pretty capable. But they aren't hard instances. They really aren't. They're quite easy. They were designed to be easy, I believe. So, I don't really agree with that. I wish heroics were difficult, but it is what it is. Blizzard likes making this game as easy as possible. The scenarios I'll talk about, but just for a second because they're unimportant. They're like 10 to 15 minute side events. You join them, you kill stuff falls over. There's usually 3 DPS, and it's pretty pointless. I mean, they don't really give much. They're just kind of there. There's one of them that gives a weapon, and I think that's about it. Apparently, they're supposed to be used for DPS if you queue for heroic. Why did I say that like so weird? It's like I forgot what I was talking about. If you queue for any heroic, and then it's usually about a 10 to 15 minute wait without DPS, or without a healer or a tank with you. So I guess they want you to just queue for a heroic and then join a scenario. Do the scenario, and the queue should pop roughly after that. But, I mean, I don't know. I just queue with a healer and problem solved. Other than that, the Raid Finder just came out last week or the week before or something. Yeah, Raid Finder has been out for a little while now. That's pretty, I mean, it's Raid Finder, it's easy. You might have issues if the tanks don't know the fights, but DPS don't need to know the fights. I went through it the first time, I didn't have a single idea what was going on. It didn't matter. So DPS definitely don't need to know the fights. Healers pretty much don't need to know the fights. The tanks need to know them because they need to know where their bosses stand, but as long as they know, it's pretty easy. I mean, you're not going to have any issues with the Raid Finder, you're not supposed to. Normal version, from what I've seen so far, isn't a big deal either. It's not that difficult. It's pretty much just knowing the fight and knowing what to do. It's not really that hard, from what I've seen. I haven't done heroic yet, so I can't really talk on that, but I don't suspect it will be that much more difficult, only because nothing in this game is anymore. So I mean, I guess it is what it is. If you're looking for like a dumbed down game, this is a good one. I don't know what else to say. I'm enjoying Miss Pandaria. I think it's pretty fun. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not my favorite. Burning Crusade is still my favorite, but it is pretty good. I like it more than Cataclysm so far. So I guess we'll see where it goes. If there's anything that I missed or anything you guys want me to expand on, let me know, and I'll be happy to either make another video or just reply in the comments if it's something easy. So with that, I'm out. Peace, guys.